Doctor Who is one of the longest running TV shows in history, and it's got an absolute blinder of an anniversary just up around the corner. And there are always two things that go hand in hand with the Doctor: the TARDIS and his sonic screwdriver. Welcome back to The Order, where we talk about all things awesome and collectible. Today we're going to take a look at the brand new 14th Doctor's sonic screwdriver from Character Options. This is the retail version rather than the limited online release. I am tempted to pick one of those up, so if you want me to do a compare and contrast, let me know in the comments. If you enjoy this video, it would be amazing if you could leave a like and subscribe.
Help a veteran get a warm meal.
Alonzi! Starting off with the packaging, from a collector's point of view, there are a couple of nice bits here. You've got the nice 60 years anniversary logo there, potentially for collectors down in the future. If you want to pick one of these up and leave it in the box, might not be a bad thing because it might retain some value. Once you're into just the box, you've got a thin sleeve of plastic. The rest of it's perfectly recyclable if that's what you want to do. Instructions on how to get into the battery compartment and deal with the other bits are in here. It does have a hidden battery compartment, which is very nice and also very reminiscent of the Master's screwdriver. Not much else to say. The artwork's okay, features extending opening and emitter, and there's nothing else really on the box here. Just for clarity and for future reference, this takes 3 AG13 or LR44 batteries. Alright, that's enough about the box. On the face of it, it's a nice looking screwdriver. It's a little bit chunky, if I'm honest, but in the hand it feels okay. Certainly feels like an adult toy. Down at the bottom here, you've got this faux twist, which is a nice little element. Again, slightly reminiscent of the Master's screwdriver, which I will do a little compare and contrast in a second. But that's quite nice, and the clicks are very satisfying. You've got this handle section here, which is reminiscent of the 11th and sort of 12th Doctor's sonic screwdriver. Then you've got this marble section here, and I actually think this is the most disappointing part of this sonic screwdriver. And from what I've seen online, the limited edition online release looks exactly the same, in that this is just printed on. With the 10th Doctor's sonic screwdriver, you had this mottled effect, almost like a kind of coral effect. It was sculpted into the plastic and it looked really nice. This, unfortunately, looks really cheap, and you can see very clearly that line there and there. From a distance, it looks okay. It's just, in the hand, very disappointing. Not 100% sure I'll get this on camera, but there is some quite cool Gallifreyan symbols in there, in the activation button. And then we move on to the emitter section. So there's a few bits here which are actually really nice. The first thing I would say about this screwdriver is it seems to be an amalgamation of the 10th, 11th and 12th Doctors. It completely bypasses and ignores the 13th Doctors, which for a lot of people will be a bit of a blessing. You've got the chrome bits down here, which are very reminiscent of the 11th Doctor. This little nub at the end is actually more reminiscent of the 12th Doctor screwdriver. The black handle here is reminiscent of the center section, or the center sort of grip of the 11th Doctor's. You've got the marble in the middle, which is a throwback to David Tennant. And then up here at the emitter, this section, I would say, almost harks back to the center sections that jut out in the 12th Doctor's blue screwdriver. And then when you extend the emitter, this rings absolutely of the 11th Doctor. It really does feel like for the 14th Doctor and for this anniversary Doctor in reality, and that's what it is. This 14th Doctor is an amalgamation, or is going to be a bit of an amalgamation, of the previous 3 favourite Doctors. Like I said, ignoring the 13th. But there you go. In terms of differences between this and the online release, the differences are a chrome finish on the limited edition release, which actually I don't think the paint color on this is bad. You know, you've got this nice shine to the gold section down here, and similarly, you know, this matte finish on here looks okay. Otherwise, the main difference is the electronics. The online release has multiple different colors, but as far as I know, that's about it. I don't think it necessarily has different sound functions. But like I said, if you want me to do a compare and contrast, I'll pick one up and we'll do a little look. Looking at the electronics, you can activate all of the electronics from this position, and as you can see there, it lights up blue down here, and then there is a blue coming out of this emitter section. It's just not particularly bright. Press it a couple of different times and it does a different sound. That's just almost like a muted effect. Again, there is a different sound effect there. So almost like it's building up, and you can see there it's starting again. Until we see this in the show, we're not really going to know what these different functions are. some kind of alarm function. So that's, I mean, I actually don't think we've had one with 5 clicks before. So 6, yeah, okay. So 5, it seems to get to 5 really nicely. You can start it and then extend the emitter. And you see down here, you've got these extra bits of LEDs. I actually think there's much duller electronics than previous editions. There was a much brighter blue, well, originally in the 10th Doctor's version, there was a bit of a purple hue to the end of his emitter. In other ones, it was a bit of a darker blue, but still okay. The sound effects are pretty much what you'd expect from a Doctor Who sonic screwdriver, but it looks lovely. And then, just to show you from here, you get this nice bit of bounce back on these sections and these prongs around here. Overall, it feels okay in the hand, it feels nice enough. I did promise that we'd do a little look and comparison against some of the other sonic screwdrivers. We have the Master's laser screwdriver, and here's that twist bit at the bottom, which this seems very reminiscent of, only far more satisfying on that. Size-wise, they look about the same. The 11th Doctor's height-wise, this still remains the longest I think that there's been, especially once you've got the emitters out. You can see there's definite design elements that have been taken from this and imported into this. Prongs at the end, obviously these are much larger and they're further down rather than being right at the end. And then this handle section, this grip section in the middle, you can see there has almost been taken straight away wholesale. So when I'm talking about the difference in the lights, fairly bright there. And I would say that's a bit of a struggle to see. Granted, I've got lights on at the moment, but still. There's also slight disappointment in, like I said, some of these sound effects just seem like they are a bit quieter. Whereas this had a full array of different sound effects. Let's see if it'll do it. So, it does feel like they've missed something there. There's a chance that I might be being unfair to this. It just feels a little bit lackluster, and certainly for what is a big anniversary, I think I was slightly expecting more. And like I said, it feels unnecessarily chunky. It certainly feels chunkier than this, not the black section, but this section in the middle. You can see here this kind of almost kind of a bit like hips in the body. It kind of moves in and out, whereas this is just chunky. It still looks okay as a screwdriver. It looks fine. I'm not convinced that that design. But the fact that you don't have to use it like that is also very, very nice. So, what do you guys think? Compared to the other screwdrivers, are the sound effects good? Do you like the design overall? Or is it a bit of a weird miss for the BBC?